Hi, I'm Steve Parr. I'm a Vancouver business lawyer and I create clarity for entrepreneurs, and this video is for you if you want to understand whether to bring on a contractor or an employee for your growing company. So if you're bringing on talent for your small business and don't know whether to bring on a contractor or an employee, please pay close attention to this video because the distinction is massive and it can cost your business thousands of dollars, not to mention a whole lot of headache. Whether you call the person who's working for you an employee or a contractor, that doesn't determine whether they actually are in fact an employee or a contractor. It's the nature of the relationship. And if the Canada Revenue Agency comes along and decides to take a look at that relationship and you've got it wrong, they could reassess you. So let's break it down. What's the difference between an employee and a contractor? Employers love contractors in general because they love the idea of having less paperwork, less responsibility, and being able to get in and out of the contract at will. Let's take a look at an independent contractor. So an independent contractor is somebody who works for themselves, is essentially their own boss. They are responsible for generating profit, for taking care of the expenses associated with their business. They determine their own working hours, they have their own tools, and in general, they have multiple clients. So a good example of a contractor is an electrician. They come into your home, they do their work, they send you an invoice, you pay them, and then they're on their way. They're not your employee, they come and they work for you from time to time. As soon as the work is done, the contract is over. So whereas if we look at an employee, it's a very different beast. An employee is somebody whose hours are determined by their boss, they receive a regular wage, their responsibilities are directed by their supervisor, and in general, they are not in control of their working hours or how they get the work done or what tools they use to execute the work. And so in any analysis that's done by the Canada Revenue Agency, they're going to take a look at what the actual nature is of the work that's being done and how it's being done to determine whether that person is a contractor or an employee. So now let's take a look at the benefits and drawbacks of hiring a contractor or an employee. So when you hire a contractor, it can be a lot simpler because you simply sign off an agreement to work with that person. You can control exactly how long you want to work with that person for, what the terms of ending the relationship might be, and you don't have any responsibilities to this person after the end of the contract. In other words, there's no severance pay to be paid out. In short, the contractor is only protected by what is set out in the terms of the contract. Whereas the drawbacks and benefits for employees look very different. So employees are governed by the Employment Standards Act of BC, and that act sets out a number of protections for employees. So number one, there's a minimum wage. Number two, severance pay. So employees are going to be expected to be paid out severance pay after a certain period of time of being employed by your company. And number three, there's CPP and EI remittances, and also income tax withholding that you may be obligated to withhold from your employee and remit to the government. The benefits of having an employee over a contractor is stability. So if you have employees, there's generally an expectation that they're going to be with you for a certain period of time, whereas a contractor, they're always thinking about their next hustle, their next client, and so they may not have the same degree of loyalty to you or your business. However, there are ways to incentivize independent contractors. They can buy into a stock option plan issued by your company. So if your company is incorporated, then you can issue options to contractors that vest over a certain period of time. That is, they become mature and eligible to be converted into actual shares in the company. And that way, independent contractors can be incentivized to stick around with your company and continue to provide value for your company over the long haul. That also applies to employees as well. Employees are also eligible to purchase stock options. Final point on this note, if your business hires somebody who is already incorporated, that does not necessarily mean that they are going to be classified as an independent contractor. Simply being incorporated is not enough. So if you hire somebody who has a corporate entity and they are acting like an employee, they're still an employee. So in this area of law, there is quite a bit of ambiguity. So the best thing to do when you're bringing on somebody is to speak with a lawyer and ask them to take a look at the actual nature of the relationship that the employee or the contractor is going to have with your company, and to draft an agreement that reflects that relationship. So if you have any other questions about this distinction, please feel free to reach out, drop me a comment, and please subscribe.